Okay, hello, Chris.
Hello, hello. How are you doing? All right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. So you are known as the Country Cottage Gardener. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of a name that come about because my grandparents, they had a country cottage, and they used to joke about that I was their gardener. So eventually, I got to that point in my life where I officially became the country cottage gardener, rather than the little 8-year-old gardener going around pretending to do the work.
So is that how your life panned out? Have you been a gardener from the beginning?
Well, not really. I mean, my grandparents brought me up. I had a very typical sort of village
Oh wow.
life, and
Hmm.
my basically my parents broke up when I was 5. I'm the youngest of 2 boys. My dad had custody of us,
Okay.
and which is still, well, it's unusual then, but it's still unusual now. But
Hmm.
for him to make do, he worked several jobs, and I would be with my grandparents a lot. They were shopkeepers themselves, self-employed, and yeah, I used to totter around behind me nan, sort of with the mower, doing the classic green stripes to the lawn. She had beautiful. Her garden was gorgeous. I mean, deep herbaceous borders, bit of woodland, proper composting. If you went and put leaf in the compost bin, you'd see a finger wagging. It's just one of those finger wagger. Don't do that. So you knew not to do that sort of thing again. And my granddad was a practical one. He was the one that would always have the finger pointing and saying, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" And instructing. So I was lucky that I had the practical green side from my nan, and then my granddad sort of make mend, get on with it, sort of, side to that. And being in a village, weren't a lot to do apart from, mischief, but I'd go round and I'd do all my nan's old dears, gardens, a bit of weeding and that sort of thing.
Oh wow.
For pocket money. So from a really young age, I did that. That was my first sort of thing. Um, I lived on my own from when I was 16 years old. I found myself having. I had to. A long story, but I had to fend for myself for a period, and I got an apprenticeship as a chef. And I had a little. It was a room above the bistro, and yeah, taking food off the plates and that sort of thing to get by while I was doing my apprenticeship, and yeah, so made do at 16 and sort of grafted. And then when I come out of that, I went into a sales role, which I hated. I hated doing sales, but it was a good grounded in life. It was quite high. I worked my way up through this company, and I ended up doing some accounts for the National Health Service, like £1 million targets and all that sort of thing. Met my wife. She was studying law at the time, and so I kind of supported her in my own little way that I could financially until she got her degree. First degree with honours. She was, very proud of her for doing it. And she knew I was always unhappy with my sales. I didn't like the pressure of it. It wasn't really me. And she said, "What do you want to do in life?" And I said, "I want to be a gardener." And she scoffed. No money in gardening. How fucking right she was, to be fair. But it was kind of
Yeah.
like, no, I want to do that. I want to be happy. I want to be outside. I want to be,
Yeah.
doing stuff which is making me. I've never chased the money. That's
Yeah.
not what does it for me. I've done it. I'm a really bad businessman. Really bad. I always leave the heart too much. But I've fought on, and what am I now? I'm in year, I don't know, 12 or 13, I suppose.
12 or 13 years. So
I've
how old
been.
were you when you started?
So I must have been. Oh Christ. 25, something like that. I would have thought. Yeah. So actually, it's
Okay.
long. I'm coming up to my 40th. So Yeah, it must be up to nearly 15 years. Wow. Yeah, because I'm
So
40 this.
40 this year. So you're
Yeah,
still in your 30s.
yeah. I know. Don't let the beard fool you. this is this is all just fitting in with the words all gummage sort of look. Yeah. So 40 in September.
So what I find interesting in that, what's that transition like going from was it the sales job and then straight into God? Did you leave just all of a sudden, or was there like a transition period?
Do you know what I did? I was a bit, I was a little bit sneaky. What I told the office staff I was doing was I was going on college course. I said I was going on through education for gardening, and I put up a little advert. One little thing you used to get like in shop windows. It'd be like a little postcard, like postcard size, and I had these handwritten gardener, mowing, hedge cutting, weeding, all that sort of standard stuff. And I went around all the post offices and you used to be able to pay 20p, to have it in for a week or whatever.
Mm.
And I went around everywhere and I'll put them in I'll pay for like 3 months in advance. And within the first week of me doing it, I had this guy send me he didn't send me a message at all. He phoned me up and said, can you come and quote, to cut my hedges, hawthorn hedges. And it was a great barn of a place. And I went and saw it. And this customer actually taught me a lesson that I didn't realise till about 3-4 years' time. But I'll come to that in a minute. I quoted this hedging job. I didn't even have a hedge cutter. I used to do because my nan didn't have it. And the only power tool she had was a mower, an old hater.
Mm.
So I didn't have a hedge cutter. Quoting these jobs, didn't have a hedge cutter. So I quoted the job enough to cover the cost of a hedge cutter. And I thought, happy days. All the waste could stay on site. And when I say on site, it was hawthorn. It was about 3 years growth. So it was that thick, heavy, hawthorn where it would go through a ton bag. It wasn't like if you cut it year on year, you get nice soft growth to it. It's a little bit easier to handle. Thick, long, like 3-4 foot growth that was coming off. I never thought when I saw that job about the time it would take to drag it all the way to his bonfire site, which was like, I don't know, 800 yards away down this gravel driveway. It was ridiculous. But I did it, and he said to me, how much do you feel like doing? Do you want to do regular work? I said, yeah, not a problem at all. I said, I'll be £20 an hour. I've got to think about how long this ago was as well. And I thought, £20 an hour. That's what I worked out I needed it to be because I was on quite a good wage. Well, this is what I need to be at. And so my dog's just going to nestle into my legs here. And, oh, mate, settle down. And he said, well, I think £15 an hour is pretty good. And I went, all right, sure.
That was it.
Yeah, and that was it. That was my negotiation. That was it. And do you know what? I didn't put up his price for about 6 years. I didn't put up his price.
Wow.
But he got me into his sister's place. And his sister's place was, she used to go off in her Volvo estate and would go drop £1,000 on plants weekly. And then we'd fill these up, and it was all the time. She was addicted. She would just go off, drop £1,000 in the local nursery, come back, and we'll put them in. And she actually had funny story. I found out I did fall out with her one day and I left again over pricing, and I've been working for her for about a year, and I put me invoice into her, which was a verbal conversation of you owe me this much.
I know, but they're the ones that break down.
Yeah, and she said, "Oh right, how'd you work that out?" I said, "Well, £15 times whatever." And she said, "I thought you were £10 an hour." Bearing in mind I've been with her,
no.
and I was like, "What?" I said, "I've never been £10 an hour." I said, "It's not worth the diesel coming over here for £10 an hour." And she said, "Oh." oh no, sorry, that's my other gardener. And I had no clue that all the all the time I've been working there, she had a secret gardener as well. You know, and
What?
I thought it was just me and, you know, her pottering about. But no, she had a secret gardener. And then she had somebody else. I knew about the old girl that used to do the mowing, but she had a secret gardener as well, and she dropped herself in here. And I was like, and she's like, well, I think it's only fair that you and the other person go on the same rate. I'm like, oh, it's not how it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. But so from that one customer, from that one little thing, I got his sister, and as a customer, I would say, and a customer which I still go to, and I still go to them
Oh wow.
every Tuesday, and they've been like, they're my oldest ones, and they knew my grandparents. And I'll be honest, this is where I say I'm a bad businessman. I earned fudge all from it, really, but I love
Yeah.
the garden. They fill a little bit of that void in my life because they've moved, they've passed on now, and that, you know, sounds a bit pathetic, really, but this is where I'm a bad businessman. I've only put their price up once over the time. I love the garden. They're really nice. I have beautiful conversations with them. They don't ask for anything. They give us a little list of what they want doing. And it's just a nice way. They give us a couple of dozen eggs each week. We split the veg and the fruit from the garden as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, they let me go
Did,
over there and, you know, knock over a pheasant or whatever if I want, because I do a bit of shooting and such as well. So, you know, it's nice. I can go up into their fields and it's just a nice little relationship that, you know, so I still have them. But it's funny how that one customer from that one little note,
yeah.
before I knew it, you know, like within a week, I was flying. I was flying, you know, straight off. And but the lesson that customer taught me, the problem was with him agreeing the price because of all his friend group, and they're a group
Yeah.
that would go to fine dining together and would have tea parties and all that. Something that I never saw is you become a bit of property. If I don't know if you've ever experienced this, they talk about, oh, the gardener, and, you
So
know,
say that bit again. I missed that. You blanked out.
you kind of become a little bit of property, you know.
Okay.
You know, like it's funny because all of my clientele are very, you know, like 6 acres minimum size. I've only got
Wow.
5 clients now, and they're all in that big, you know, sort of properties and such. So it's funny because, you know, because of that group that they're in, and you know that you're talked about, you couldn't have different prices. You had to stick at the thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm the gardener that could cut down trees because I've got my certificate. I am the gardener that could lower the hedge. I am the gardener that could do a bit of paving or, you know, a bit of bricklaying, you know, to a degree. It was all at my hourly price.
Oh
So
wow.
straight to that one customer, because I got into that group, yeah, it was great. I was fixed price, and that was so difficult to break out of because, you know,
Yeah.
put one up without the other one, and if you upset the group, you could lose a lot. So that was quite a
Is that
worrying
where
time.
you are now? You still got
So
those 5?
no, I've only got the one legacy customer that I said about. But no, so what have I
Okay.
got now? On a Monday, I have one client. On a Tuesday, I go to my favourite customers I chatted about. A Wednesday, I go to a holiday home who's owned by a Danish family. It's a beautiful mill. I don't know if you've
Okay.
one of my YouTube videos I'd done a while back, but it's a mill and it's got 3 parts of the River Stour running through it, which goes off to the Thames. I'm actually going to be planting. I might do a little YouTube video on it. I've got some fruit trees and some climbing roses and things coming. So I'm going to do that. I go to them on a Wednesday, and then a Thursday I go to another. It's called another mill, but it's a dry mill now. It's not and they had like an oast house and all that sort of thing. So yeah, so that's all I've got. Monday, 1, Tuesday. Yeah, so I only do 4 clients now. Like
And you're in
for 4
Kent, aren't you?
days. Yeah, yeah. We're
You're
not
about an
too far
hour
away
from
from
me.
each other.
Yeah, I'm in Sevenoaks, so I'm like one. I looked it up today because I was going to chat to you. So you're about an hour. I think about an hour from me. Ashford, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't like it particularly. It's
You don't like it?
no, I don't. I say village life. I call it where I live. It's all of my clients are external, out in the villages. Yeah, it's too busy for me. If I don't like being around people, and I don't think
Yeah,
people
fair
like
enough.
being around me particularly. I'm, yeah, it's
Solitary man. And you
well,
work alone, yeah? Is that
I
right?
think that's part of what comes with the job. I think that's
Yeah.
the years of working alone. But I have had staff. I have had
Yeah.
people in the past
Yeah, you've
with
had
me.
the odd one or two.
Yeah. You could listen to your podcast where you had 4 of you, including yourself at one stage, didn't
I
you?
got up to 4, yeah. It was bloody nightmare.
Yeah. See, when I never had people work for me, I had people work with me,
Yeah,
and because I like telling people what to do, but yet I
yeah,
want to do what I want them to do. It's kind of
yeah.
it's
It's a
strange. I've always had trouble with it, and to be honest, the
yeah,
stress it weren't worth the financial gain.
yeah,
So for me, I found the best type of people to have work with me were other self-employed gardeners
yeah,
because we all know what level or standard we want to work at, and we have that level of respect for how to act in front of clients, how
mm,
to respect other people's tools. Um, we know the score about what money we're going to be hopefully making within the job, and we
yeah,
also know how to help somebody else out of the crapper. Like I used to have this guy called Nick, and he was brilliant. He never moaned. He would stay late if we needed to. And I'd be the same for him on his jobs. Like he would quote them, and he'll quote me as the labourer, and we knew each other's labour rate. And we knew what to expect from each other, and it worked so well.
oh
But
wow,
he's become a millionaire, so he's not really worried about doing gardening or whatever. He was quite lucky actually. He used to do insurance, and he I never knew it was a market, but premium push bikes. He used to buy them back off of insurance companies, like carbon fibre bikes and all this sort of thing. Sorry, my dog's just going to have a little cough up.
that's fine. Go
Anyway, he
for it.
managed to get a deal with Halfords selling their ex-display stocks and everything.
Wow.
He got a warehouse. Then lockdown happened and he shit his pants. And then Boris went, oh, "Don't worry, cycling is part of your going out. You can do that." And he's off. He was gone.
No,
So he hit it at the right time. Yeah. He's
nice.
doing it now. He's sold all of Halford's stock, and I think he's playing the stock market now. So what a nice life, eh? But there we.
Sounds good. So
Sorry,
you in all your say that again.
I went on a bit
I
of a
missed that.
tangent.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I like it. I like it. I'm trying to kind of let you just roll with it because it's good. I love it. I love it. It's all good stories. So I've got a list here that you gave me. You sent me.
Yep,
So I'm gonna just throw one at you.
sure.
Naked Hippy Yoga Couple sounds funny.
Oh, yeah, I tell you what. So I got this call and it was really random. I got this call from this lady, and she was talking like I knew her. And I'm terrible. I can't remember names. I can vaguely remember faces, but I'm really, really bad with it. My wife, she can remember everything, like she's really good. So I rely on her a lot. But this woman was talking to me like I knew her and said that she needed a house that she owns cleared. She had tenants in there for the last 5 years, and the garden was a shit tip. They hadn't really done anything with it. They'd done the bare minimum. And could I clear it? I said, I haven't really got a lot of time for this. This was like June, July time. So but she wanted to get it done. She had the plumbers and the electricians all in the house as well, refurbing it because she wanted to get it back on the market for letting new agent. So I said, well, what I'll do is I'll pop in at the end of the day, and I'll just do 3 or 4 hours here, 3 or 4 hours there, and get it back into a good state.
Yeah.
And not a problem at all. Speaking to my wife about it, and she went, oh yeah, it's just round the corner from us. So I told her the name. She went, no, do you know who this is? I'm like, I haven't got a clue. Now I won't say, but she was a very minor celebrity, and I had no clue that she had property around here. And when I say very minor celebrity, she was like on a daytime TV show surrounding antiques. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to meet her. I'll do the job, and I'll send photos or whatever. And anyway, I'd done lots of this work, done loads of clearing. I had the last bit to do out the back, and I went on the end of this day, and there was this crappy Mondeo in the driveway, and I thought, well, it's probably the builder or the electrician or whatever in there.
Mm.
And as I was unloading the van, I could hear all this strange chanting and noises and whatever, and I thought, it's a bit weird, what's going on here? Sort of like animal groaning and all this sort of thing. I thought, no, don't worry about it. No, it might be the plumber and he's struggling with a pipe or something. I go round the back of the property, and they've got this big deck out the back, and I'm confronted by this young couple who are stark bollock naked doing yoga in the garden. And I think they call it Happy Baby, where they put their bottoms up into the air and show their arse up to the sun or whatever it is. Anyway, so I'm confronted with all my power tools, stood there looking, and she weren't bad looking, to be fair. I didn't really want to. It's kind of like, where'd you look? I know where you're not supposed to look, but I was confronted by these two, yeah. And he kind of got a bit embarrassed and put some boxer shorts on. She grabbed his t-shirt and put it on. Bearing in mind, it's a fairly long t-shirt, but it weren't doing anything for anybody. And continued to do the yoga. So every time she bent over, tip would flop out. And bear in mind, she's still not got anything covering up her lady garden. I could have offered me services and trimmed her bush at the same time, to be fair. But it was one of the, but this couple, once I had, said to them what I was doing and whatever, they proceeded to tell me all the way through how lucky I was and how in touch with Earth I was and how beautiful and what a good soul I have and all this sort of thing whilst I was working. And this was fine, but I was up against the target. So, to get finished. The only thing that got rid of them was when I started up the strimmer and started flicking, flicking stuff up at them, sort of shooing them away a little bit. Anyway, they were on a bit of a pilgrimage, this couple. They'd come from Devon and they were going down to Folkestone because they were going to a holistic tattooist. And this chap was telling me about his dad, who was also a celebrity in the antiques market.
All right.
Wears a lot of orange fake tan.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And,
supermarkets. Right. Yeah.
DD is his initial. Yeah. And he was telling me that he got permission to stay in the house from a dinner party from his dad's colleague. So they were just staying in the house whilst on their pilgrimage to this tattooist. So that was really odd. I've never had anybody stick around and not be embarrassed about being.
Yeah, that's naked. Weird.
It was really quite weird. Yeah, it was really quite weird. The whole situation was very odd. But them to start preaching to me at one point about how lucky I was for my job, it was
distracting. To say the least.
It was very distracting. It was very distracting. Yeah. There's me with my old face protection on and everything, and I thought I just got to try and move on with the job. I can't stand there talking to people because they were very keen to talk.
Oh God.
But, that was very odd. That was very, very, very odd.
That's got to be up there. That's got to be up there. on your
Well,
list?
I don't know, because I mean, I seem to attract weird people in my life. You know, I've always been that sort of lucky that I've had
Call it
weirdos.
luck if you want.
Well, I mean,
Well, you,
like, I'll be like in a town centre, and somebody will. I had somebody before in Canterbury. I don't know if you know the city, Canterbury, but
yeah, I do
run
know.
up.
Yeah, I know.
This was like in the middle of the day. Just run up to me, and went power to the people, right in my face, and just jogged on again. And this happens regular, and it's just no. I just attract weirdos. It's yeah.
Well,
There we
you've got your brother. So your brother used to work for you, and you said he slept with a client. Oh, is that something I can't talk about?
Yeah, no, it's fine. My brother, I would, if I was going to give a tip, I had my dad work with me before, and I had my brother. Now, my brother, he'd just come out of the army. Well, actually, no, he was on rest from, I can't remember if it was Iraq or Afghanistan at the time. He'd come back from doing some service. He was in between time, and he was like a dog with two dicks. He was anything that would move, he was going for. And he he helped us out on this job. It was a tiny little bit of turfing, a little bit of weeding, and a hedge trim. And yeah, he come with me on the job day one, and he bedded the young lady on day one.
Oh,
And it was awkward when I turned up the next day, and he's still there. You know, he's still there, ready for day
no.
one. Yeah,
Oh
and
God.
yeah. But the worst thing was, the young lady must have thought that was her payment. She didn't think she was going to have to pay for the job. Yeah. So I
Oh,
explained to her that, you know, he's only my brother and helping out. And, you know, I'm sure his services don't equate to paying. I can't go into the NatWest and say, Rob, zip, I'm ready to pay me mortgage this month. You know,
unless
it's,
that was his line. Maybe that was his line.
well, maybe we've all been missing a trick, you know, but yeah, so that was mega embarrassing. You know, there's me trying
Oh
to chase
God.
payment and he's trying to chase seconds. Yeah.
Was that the last time he worked for you?
Do you know what? Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, I had him,
Surprise, surprise.
yeah, I had him come out and do. He's a plumber now. I had him come out
Oh
and do a
God.
couple of little jobs for us. You know, like putting in the outside. Because what I used to do when I used to do a lot of turfing, I mean, when I did a lot of turfing jobs, I used to upsell sprinklers or hose pipes. So I'll provide it or rent it to the customer to make sure that they would water the grounds or whatever.
I got it. Yeah.
And I would also say, if you haven't got an outside tap, I can get you a good deal on a tap being put in for outside. So would say it's 80 quid for the tap. Brother would do it for 40 quid. He would get the work for doing it, and I would earn a little
Mhm.
bit on top as well. So, you know, I had a few jobs like that where I'd have him come and do it. But yeah, it's always weird working with family because you need to be able to put people in their place. Like one of my
Yeah.
first jobs, I had my dad help with us, and it was a clearance job. And I said to him, "Right, save, keep hitting our heads going down this alleyway. We want to cut back some of these trees." So I handed him the silky saw. Said, "Please be careful. Please be careful." Brand new silky saw. Well, I ended up doing this job, which was 3 days on my own, because within the first 20 minutes, he was down A&E having his thumb stitched back up where he put the silky through his.
Oh
Yeah,
God. They are
yeah,
sharp, them ones. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
really sharp. It wasn't a very successful job because I hired a stump grinder and I hit the corner of a patio as well. So on that
Oh
job,
God.
it took longer, and I ended up having to replace some brick and a slab. With the client was
So
they were nice enough. Yeah, because it was
you
so
do.
the stump was so close to the patio, I ended up whacking it.
Oh God. But you do
Yeah.
landscaping, right? So you do more than just maintenance.
Yeah, see, it's kind of what I fell into because I enjoyed doing it. I kind of,
Yeah.
got asked to do things like that client, which did the first fence for. Which I did the first hedge cut for. They had these big, deep embankments, and they were geranium beds. They were all the geranium rosanna. That's the only thing that would really grow and cover. And they said they would really like these steps put in. So I said, yeah, okay. And I did these timber steps to 3 lots of them set in concrete and then pebbles in them. And I put up a post on the old Facebook, and somebody else said, oh, you do a bit of woodwork, would you do this? And again, with the fencing, I used to do a lot of fencing. That was
Yeah.
good money, but it kind of broke my body a bit.
It will do, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of broke us because I ended up not having help all the time. I found sometimes I found I could be more productive on my own.
Yeah. Did you do the
It's
closed board fencing?
closed board and panel. And see, what really broke me was a lot of the concrete posts, because we get a lot of
Yeah.
wind coming in here, and we have a lot of playgrounds. So we get a lot of heave on the ground, and it's
Yeah.
wet. I'd always recommend people to put concrete boards in, concrete gravel boards and whatever, but they're so heavy. But
Yeah, I've never done them actually. I've never done the concrete ones.
You're really not. I'm currently just doing the very last one I'm going to do, and it's for a mate. It's on a slope right next to a main road. It's only a 4 foot, so I'm only using 7 foot posts. And it's 26 bays, and I managed to do
And
30.
are they going to be concrete gravel board?
Concrete gravel boards, concrete posts, and then feather edge panels in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I managed to do 13 bays over the weekend. So I've got probably 2 more days on it. But it's just hard craft,
It's on your own.
Yeah, using the concrete breaker and everything, it's not a lot of fun. But this is again where I'm a businessman. Is my prices I've always been happy with what I've earned, but I've always been told you're doing that quite cheap, and I've always thought. But the problem is with me, it's against I'm an Orthodox tight ass. That's my religion, Orthodox tight ass. So I've always struggled. Like if I look around the house and go, I need Christmas Eve, right? Bearing in mind I just had a knee op like a few days before. My wife really bollocked me for this one. I was replacing the toilet system upstairs on Christmas Eve, and I ended up putting water through the ceiling downstairs because I wouldn't get a plumber, so I could do it myself. Because I couldn't get underneath the toilet where my knee was kind of all mucked up, I couldn't tighten the nuts up properly underneath. So I flushed it, and all the fucking water would come out of the system down the back. And I was like, Christmas Eve.
Oh no.
So we had family over Christmas Day. So we're like, you only have to use a downstairs toilet. It was I weren't in good books. But
no way.
Getting anybody else in to do work that I could do myself. And that's been a problem when it comes to doing pricing.
Because you was out of action literally for a good chunk of winter, weren't you?
Yeah.
Not a bad time.
Well, I chickened out pre-COVID having my knee done. It was locking. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was getting to a point where it was locking so much, and I used to have to punch the side of my leg to get it to release. And this is years. It was getting really bad, and I'd move my leg, and it would stiffen up, and I'd really give it a yank to get it to go, and you'd hear this, and you'd see my kneecap pop up and down.
You punched it. You were punching.
Yeah, I used to have to punch the side of my leg, my kneecap,
like bloody Rambo.
Yeah, to get it to release, because it wouldn't move. So, and it got worse from COVID. I had the problem before COVID, but I didn't really fancy going into hospital when we had a plague. So I thought I'll put that off a little bit.
That's sensible. That's sensible.
Yeah.
Sensible.
I thought, I don't want to go in there and come out in a bag. So I put it off. But when they done the keyhole, I was quite lucky. I went private, and they found that there's a cyst in there as well, and that was getting bigger. So where I'd had my injury, because before I was doing, I was doing kickboxing as well at that point, and there's like the doctor said to us, the surgeon said, "Where do you think your traumas come from?" I'm like, "I can pick a day, I used to pick up the fence posts, the concrete posts, put them between my legs, and sort of slam them down to get that little bit extra. Instead of taking the whole thing out of the ground, to dig the hole, I sort of use my body weight to slam it down. So fencing always, because I'm 6'2", when I'm weeding, I prefer it fingertips, hands and knees. I don't like using a hoe and doing it stood up because it's more comfortable. Because I don't like leaving the crap on the beds. I get down there and I dig the roots out and I do it proper the first time.
Yeah.
And of course you're on the knees, and everyone always used to say to me, "Look after your knees, look after your back," and I'm like, "Bah, indestructible." You're not, And as you work your way up to the old 40, because you haven't got there yet, have you? You're not 40, are you?
No, I am.
You
I'm
are
44. 44.
45. You're looking all right on it. And
I'm in there, mate. I'm right in there.
yeah, but you notice it. It's my little boy that pointed it out to us. It's like, "Daddy, you make a noise when you get up off the sofa." No, really, I didn't notice that. And I remember my old man doing it. Creaking and cracking and.
Well, you've had an injury as well, so.
Yeah. So yeah, but
How's the recovery on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really good. It aches continuously, but it's not locking. But I was really lucky because I went private. When I had my MRI and the diagnosis, they said, "When do you want it?" And I said, "Well, when can you fit it in?" He said, "Pick a day, pick a Tuesday." So
That's good.
I deliberately put it, because I've got my other company as well. I had all my fairs and fetes and Christmas markets and everything prepaid, and I had my clients. So I thought, well, if I go, a week before Christmas, I can give myself 6 weeks, hammer out the gardens, and 6 weeks turned into 8 weeks, really. And it was so hard going back because it don't feel like this year it stopped raining. It's just been so wet. It's been depressing. And every gardener I've spoken to, it's miserable. It's so miserable
Oh, it is
this year.
hard. Yeah, it has been for sure. And I'm just curious about your knee. So, what is that? Plastic? Is that metal? What's actually in there?
I just had keyhole. So what he done is he got in there. I got two tiny little scars like that, either side of my kneecap, and he got one for a camera which went in one side, and then one side he went in there and he cut this cyst out, and then he got I can only describe it as like a like what you get for the dentist, the buzzy cut burr things or whatever, and he cut the cartilage in the kneecap as well, shaved it all back because it's all him. And the cyst is what was getting bigger from my old injury, and that's why it was getting worse over time. Because it got to a point where I was kneeling in a client's garden weeding, and I couldn't get up. My leg, I couldn't physically move the knee. It was stuck with my heel to my butt. So I'm like, what can I do here? And so I really had to have it done, and it was kind of like, I want to be on the floor playing with my boy,
Yeah, of course.
Work's great, but I want to be down there doing the puzzles with him or whatever. So it got to that point, because I hate doctors, I hate dentists. I don't do any of that.
I think that you think that's a man thing, because no one I know, none of my friends like any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know we chatted previously about my sales and everything. I didn't work for the one firm. I did do dental sales for a while. And I used to go to trade shows and everything like that, like to the Birmingham EDC and all the trade shows. And I sell dental products to dentists. So you would see a lot of the procedures with the dental stuff. And I heard a lot of stories that I won't smile because my teeth, I'll show them, but I haven't been to the dentist in 10 years because I
haven't, no.
Do you know what? If you ever go to there and they've already got their gloves on, tell them to put another pair on. There was this one case that I saw where this dentist was taking the gloves off after seeing the patient, putting them in the patient file, and then putting them back on in 6 to 8 months when they're coming back in. And it's things like that. I think, oh, gross. I'll eat sandwiches after doing the compost heap, but the thought of that, just no.
Oh yeah,
Proper grim. Anyway.
So we've done. So there's obviously another one here, which I found quite interesting. Making lesbian couple cry.
Oh yeah. See, this one I actually had two people with me on this job. Nice little village, and it was a real mixture job. So they wanted the garden sort of tarted up, cut back. They had already done a lot themselves, so they wanted a bit of a bonfire going as well. They wanted the white picket fence at the front of their house painted. So I had a young lad, um, who we chatted about earlier on. I had him
Yeah.
painting the fence front, and then there was me and Nick. We were doing like a bit of chainsaw work out the back, taking a bit off a eucalyptus tree, lowering some hedges and whatever. Anyway, this lesbian couple, really nice, very attentive to us, checking our every need, coming out every 5 minutes, whatever. And as they come out, I turn around to Nick, and I've been weeding around the pampas grass, and I go, oh, look at this. It's a turtle shell. Look, I haven't found one of these for a while. And I said, oh, this will make a beautiful ashtray. And he's going, what's all that around it? I said, oh, it looks like a rat's got in there. And I said, God, that'd be a horrible way to die. I said, the rat would get in there and it'd eat the tortoise while it's still alive, if it's hibernating in the bush. And she's crying. She's crying. It's
Oh
their
no.
pet tortoise that had escaped. And there's me
Oh
going on
no.
about how a rat would have eaten their pet alive. And saying that its shell would have made a great ashtray wasn't. Yeah, it weren't my finest hour. I felt weird.
Oh, I bet you did.
But it's one of them things that I was just talking before thinking. Talking before I was thinking. I don't think about people having pet tortoises, things like that.
You don't, do you? And that's pretty random to find. I've never found a tortoise shell.
Do you know what? It always strikes me strange because I see it up on Facebook groups. Oh, I've lost my pet tortoise, and think, how long have you got to take your eye off your fucking pet tortoise for it to escape?
I know.
Quick
They're
is the
pretty
thing.
slow.
It's kind of like, yeah. I mean, we popped to Tenerife for a week, and the tortoise has escaped. It's only got to the front door, but it's escaped. It's strange, really. Yeah.
What happened to the tortoise? What happened to the shell?
They had it. I don't know whether they used
Yeah.
it for an ashtray or not. They didn't strike me as smokers.
Probably not an ashtray. It's probably like
No.
framed on their wall or something.
No. See, that was a bit of a funny job because we had people come round to complain as well because we were having a bonfire, and it was a Thursday that we were doing it. Yeah, it was nice weather. It was all right. But unbeknownst to us, the couple had history for having bonfires a lot, and got a feeling that we were brought in to kind of clear and get on top of it all and do one big finale. Of course, we did cop it from the local Karen come round and said,
The local Karen.
that was it. She was just, we were smoking. I remember it now. We were smoking out the local football team who were in the field, beyond it. And I was just like, it's not like we were chucking tires on there at all, but yeah, dramatic. It was dramatic. But I suppose that's what eucalyptus does. Actually, saying about funny stories, when I was going around doing all the leaflets and things, I had a shop for an Indian couple, and they said, do I do tree work? I said, I'll do a little bit. I know my limits. Anyway, I went round the back. Huge eucalyptus tree, huge thing above the house, huge, and it's all scorched around the bottom. I said, what are you doing? Yeah, the Indian gentleman had tried setting light to the bottom of the tree to get it to fall over because he hadn't got a saw. And they thought that once they burnt it and it fell over, the neighbours next door patio would settle because it was the roots which were lifting up the patio next door. So they thought that once they burnt the eucalyptus tree down, that the patio would. And I was just kind of like, no tree surgeon is going to touch that. They'd have to get a high ab in there, and it was.
That is dodgy.
I don't know how it ever got resolved, but what goes through some people's minds sometimes is
to burn it.
Yeah, well, they're burning it from the bottom, and this thing was massive. It was ridiculous, but
Jesus,
that was crazy.
It's funny the stories we pick up over the years, isn't it? The madness that happens.
Yeah, and it's not till like you had your podcast and I was thinking back about things. I was thinking, wow, and the Scottish lady who that was a fencing job, and chatting away to her, and she was doing a bit of a house clearance, and she said, "Oh, we're going to go to the tip and get rid of some bits." And I'd already chatted about my boy and how he liked his Lego, and she said to me, "Oh, would you like the Lego?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm made up. He'll be chuffed to bits with that. Daddy's working on a Saturday, trying to get it done, going back with a gift for the boy. That'll make things right." Anyway, come to it, and she's like, "So how much money should we take off the bill for the Lego?" Uh,
No.
I thought, what? I was like, yeah. It was just the sort of, like, again, I can't go to NatWest and pay with Lego. It's kind of, you don't mind if there's a bit of a barter and there's a bit of a negotiation and an understanding, but it was just, I don't know, it took me right off guard, and I was just like, so I gave her the Lego back, but I felt
Yeah, I
bad.
would.
Text the wife and said I got Lego, so the
Oh
money I made from
no.
the job, I ended up going to Smith's and buying my boy Lego because he was expecting it to get home, but I was in
Yeah.
that situation of like, well, I paid for materials, and all this sort of thing for it, and then yeah, so I still ended up going home with Lego for the boy, but it was weird. Yeah, it's just kind of like, whoa, how
I've been
uh,
given a mower as part payment before.
have you really? Oh,
Like
hang
a
on, so,
hater, a real decent. Hey,
sorry, I just had a sale come through on my shop, so I had to clear it off.
that's right. Yeah, it was. So it was in a little kind of garage covered in like cobwebs, snails, and it was like, um. Look at her going. Well, it's a hater.
Yeah,
I actually got it
yeah.
going. It started like first crack, so I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll knock 20 quid off of that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've been quite lucky with some tools over the years. Like I've got two big rotavators. I had an Ieski, which had 4 tines on it. Ieski is a Japanese make. They make tractors and things. This thing was a tank. It had reverse gears on it and everything. And I had this thing. I did a really big landscaping project. It was like this, the slope, vertical, and cut into it solid clay, and I did the top tier with, like, they all have balustrades on them, but I did, and it was all railway sleepers, and so railway sleeper walls. The top tier was a composite deck, then it was a gravel garden, then it was a patio, and then it was a timber deck to the house, and that was the biggest project I ever did, and I did
On your
all of this.
own.
I had Nick for a few days, but then he left me because where did he go? No, his dad was poorly, and then he went to Florida on holiday. And I had the young lad with us, and he went to court. So I ended up doing 2 weeks of the job on my own,
Wow.
and literally that was every day, 6 till 6 every day. It was, but this because it was really hot. I bought a gazebo put up just to keep the sun off us. But this rotavator I had it vertical, digging, like up at shoulder height to get through this clay because I just couldn't dig any longer. My arms wouldn't allow me because no soil was actually. I did do a YouTube video about it, but it never really took off. That one only had a few hundred views. But I use this machine, get it down, put it all into the black builder's buckets, and take it up to the top, and did that. And it was a real bugger of a job, but it was the biggest landscaping job I ever did, and it was one that I thought, oh, this would look good on the books. I did my
Yeah.
fair place on it, and then I thought, you know what? I'd much rather put my hands and clap before I do anything like that again. It was outrageous. It was yeah, pretty hard. But I also got given another rotavator before from a client. They were moving and they gave us one of them. My ride-on
So quite
mower.
pricey.
Yeah,
You
see,
got
the
given a ride
ride-on
on that?
mower. Yeah, well, what happened with that one is I was doing a property actually next door to my mill, and they were in Abu Dhabi. I think they were. Was it Abu Dhabi? Anyway, the owners were in Abu Dhabi and they were renting it out, and I was kind of their secret squirrel gardener, making sure everything was okay, but doing it. And I said to them that I'm struggling to do the lawns with my 56, my Hater 56. And they said, all right then, well, do you want us to buy a mower? I said, I'll be honest, without you being here and it being serviced, I'm worried about it. You know, I don't like using customers' mowers, because a chap I had worked with me before, he used to use a customer's mower and he burnt out 3 belts in a week. And so I got a
Oh,
bit sort of worried about that. So I said, I don't really need one for myself, but this is the situation. They said, well, okay, you choose one and buy it, and what we'll do is we'll send you the cash for it, and as long as you
whoa.
don't put your price up for the year. And I was like, I had no intention of putting my price up anyway, so I chose the Mountfield. It's only it's a good ride-on mower, still going now, but no, they bought it for me to keep me there in the garden. So I was a bit of a touch with that, really. You know,
Nice.
things like that really make you feel valued. You know, as
Yeah, they appreciate you. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I'm
There
quite
was
lucky there.
something about, yeah, go on. I was going to say, what was it about something about milky? What was it? Let me read. Client asking to have a discount as they provide milky
Oh
drinks.
God, yeah.
That
Um,
sounds so weird.
oh yeah, they wanted a discount because I had drinks. Yeah, but the thing was, this is actually quite bad. I mean, but he's saying that they wanted a discount because I drank all the milk, but I only have black coffee. I don't even drink milk. And
How petty.
well, no, it turns out that he had Alzheimer's or dementia. Yeah,
Oh.
early signs, and he was the one drinking the milk.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, he was the one drinking the milk because the daughter got involved, and he swore blind that I was drinking the milk. And I'm like, well, you've made us like 2 coffees, and I only have black. Not because I'm lactose, but where I lived on my own for so long, I couldn't afford milk. So I
Yeah.
always had black drinks, and it's continued into adulthood. And so it got quite nasty and quite heated when it come to. I mean, it wasn't even an expensive job. I think it was only like 60 quid, weed along a border and dig a couple of holes for some shrubs he had. He wanted to plant them himself, and he wanted a discount for the milk, and he was the secret milk drinker. Uh, but I mean, what you do in those situations sometimes, it's kind of like you got to learn
Yeah.
really quick how to sort of.
Oh
I've
yeah.
I've been, I've been put into some positions where, see, in the early days, I remember doing another. It was actually my wife's cousin. I had work with us, and we'd done a garden tidy up and some plants and everything. And she phoned up and complained and said, "We're not happy with the job." I said, well, what are you not happy with? Your husband was ecstatic. She had gone out before we'd finished, and I kind of get the impression looking back that maybe she was building a bit of a secret, stint sort of thing. She was doing something. She had gone out before we'd finished, left the husband in charge. He said to me, will my wife be pleased? I said, well, if you don't know what pleases your wife, I've got no chance, mate. I said, we've done everything that has been.
That's
Actually, we went.
weird.
Yeah, it was a very weird statement for him to make, and I thought this is a bit odd. We'd even cut, which wasn't included, a big conifer, but it was kind of like it being cut into a nice dome at one point, and we got it back to the shape. And she said, well, there's some clippings from the conifer which haven't been collected. Like you get the very fine bits that go in the
Oh yeah.
grass,
Oh yeah. It's not happening. Yeah.
it's kind of like you can't expect it. We're not going to get, and pick everything up. And there was a couple of brambles which were coming in from next door's woodland into the end part of the garden that we had not really gone into.
Yeah.
But me and my softness, I said, I'll give you 50 quid discount. And she was like, yeah, okay then. Yeah, I know. I look back and I go, what, Chris, what are you doing? Why you should have dug
Do
your
you
heels
think
in.
they're fishing? Are they fishing for something off?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was
Yeah.
doing. But this is strange because you get inquiries come through sometimes. I expect you've had this as well. Is, mind you, I haven't taken on any. My landlight's been unplugged for 18 months now because I've not taken on any new work. But you would get somebody phone up and they'd say, "Oh, my old gardener used to do this, or my old gardener let me down," and you go, "Is it the gardener, or is it them?" And I've gone along and I've actually, didn't tell you about this one. I went to view a job and it was for an Irish chap. I say this just to set the scene of how he talks, and it was quite brash. And I sat down with him before even going into the garden. It was a landscape job. He wanted fencing doing, and he wanted his man cave down the back of the garden, his he shed. And this thing he wanted was going to be like 25 foot long, 15 foot wide. He wanted a big old thing. He wanted a reinforced concrete base down there. He wanted electric and plumbing run down there. He wanted his big pool table in the middle of it. He wanted a mini bar and all this sort of thing. Anyway, we sat down in the kitchen and I was thinking, this is going to be a great job. This is going to be... And he started going, "Woman, you can go away. Men are talking." I went,
What?
I said, "Sorry." I said, "Sorry, sir. I don't think I can do this job for you." He went, "Why?" I said, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to be in your house for a long time." I said, "This is going to be, a month project for what you're after." So we've got to go through planning permission. We've got to take some trees down to fit it all in. We've got to get different services. I said, "I feel our personalities will clash." And he said, "Do you not like money then? Do you not like money?" And I was like,
Oh
"I'm sorry."
wow!
Yeah, I said, "Sorry." But
Well done.
it was just the way that he went, "Woman, you could," and I just thought, nah. He seemed like a bully boy. He was telling me he used to be an ex-boxer and he had all these pictures of him, from his boxing career and all this sort of thing. And I don't want to make I can't assume anything or make assumptions, but he just seemed like a bully boy. And I thought, nah, do you
Yeah.
know what? And this is something that I think people forget sometimes is that as self-employed, you get to choose your customers as well.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Yes.
the ball is in our court more than we sorry, it's a busy night tonight on my phone. The ball is in our court, more than we like to think. And I think sometimes people get desperate and we
Yeah,
can,
they do.
yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Difficult.
But that sounds like you dodged a massive bullet because God knows if he's like that with them people, what's he going to be like with you?
This is it. And this is the ones that he loves, his wife. And you just think,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
to think how anybody can speak to somebody like that. I mean, they could have had a very long, happy, beautiful marriage, I'm sure. But at that moment, I just thought, I can't. I personally, I couldn't do it. I mean, I would have liked to have taken her with me, if I thought she was unhappy. But I thought, hey, you can't talk to somebody like that.
That's
You know,
weird, isn't it?
it is weird.
You just can't imagine those people exist in this day and age. It's weird.
It was,
I
yeah.
suppose it
I
must
mean,
be.
it's quite Nathanical. What's that? What's the?
How old was he? How old was he, guy?
He was, I'd say 62, 63.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he's older. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was an older chap, as I say, Irish, old boxer. Not one not that I'm massively familiar with, boxing. It was like amateur boxing, I presume. But he had all his decals up on the room and all of it with his fists and everything like that. And you just think, yeah, I can kind of see the type, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what
I
could have?
feel sorry for her. What was her reaction to that? To being
Oh,
spoken
what,
to?
from me going? No, she'd
No,
gone.
not
She'd
from
followed
you. From
instructions.
no, from him. What was so when he said that? What did she do? She just
Followed his instruction.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that
Yeah,
she's fully
it was a bit
accepted it. Yeah.
frustrating. He had talked to her like that before. yeah, I think loyalties, I guess. That I don't know. I can only guess. This was probably a 20, 30-minute interaction with a person, and it's funny
Yeah,
how
true.
it could have been a decade ago, and yet that's always stuck with me. And you think, it's just little things like that in life, isn't it? Sometimes that you can relate back to. It's just odd, little
Yeah,
moments.
yeah.
It's
Well, like
funny how,
falling in a pond.
like falling in a pond, a hidden pond in front of a vicar, and not saying fuck or bollocks, because that. So it was a big vicarage. It was a young reverend, and he got this the vicarage, and this garden was swamped. It had everything in it apart from Japanese knotweed. So there was ground everywhere. There was bindweed. There was creeping buttercup absolutely everywhere. There was, sort of brambles and nettles and everything. And what I do when I do a job, and this was the heat of summer, it was baking. So I was in shorts, boots, but with me, like ankle boots. And what I used to do is go around with the camera talking whilst walking around saying, okay, that tree there, that cherry will stay. Now, what's this in here? There's a pergola in here or whatever. Anyway, talking away to him. He's out in a little bit of a clearing, and I go into a pond.
Oh.
And it's not just a clean pond, dirty, stinking, stagnant water in the middle of
God.
summer, straight up to my knees in just gunk, and not swearing in front of this vicar, just going, "Oh my, oh diddly fiddly sticks." One appears to have fallen in a bit of a puddle here. Ha 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 ha! How funny this! Yeah, but we
Was that
ended
on
up finding.
film?
I've
Is
got
that?
the footage somewhere. I'm sure I've
Oh
still got it.
wow!
Yeah, I think I put it up on YouTube in bloopers somewhere.
I'll
Yeah,
have a little hunt.
I was not impressed. I was not impressed. We got the job, and he was
I think
actually
you
really
deserve the job. Yeah.
well. I had 3 of us on that job, and because there was so much ground elder in there, I actually said to him, "What we need to do is clear it all through. We'll trim it, and I'll do you a weed treatment plan. So we'll arrange 3 lots of spraying. So we'll come back and we'll keep going on the young new growth of the ground elder." So for whatever you do, I know you'll get other quotes, but don't let anyone come in here with a digger and a rotavator and turn it all over, because you'll spread it all through and you'll make it worse.
Mm.
And he said, "Oh, I've got other quotes." And he come back to me, he said, "Yeah, you weren't the cheapest, but the next person who come in said, oh, what we'll do is we'll come in with a digger and we'll scrape the whole lot off into one pile." And he just went, no. Because he
Oh,
wanted it as a,
nice.
yeah, so, that was, I always try and talk to customers and be very thorough. And I'll do,
Yeah.
on my quotes, we are doing this, this is how we're going to do it
Yeah.
in this stage, this stage. We're going to use this machinery. Please bear in mind, this machinery is loud. Please bear in mind,
Yeah.
you will have to skip. Please bear in mind,
I, that's more
whatever.
important on the bigger jobs as well, isn't it? The
I used
detail
to do
becomes way more important on bigger jobs as well.
Yeah, I used to do it on little jobs because I didn't
Yeah.
want to have to knock 50 quid off because there's
Yeah.
some
True.
little pins or a bramble. I always say to people when I do hedge cutting, please don't expect every leaf to be picked up. It's
Yeah.
unrealistic. You know,
Yeah.
um, it's all about managing expectations. The client,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it is. Managing expectations.
Yeah. Because there's sometimes things crop up as well that, and it's
Totally.
knowing your clients as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've I always say to my clients, I won't lie because I'm too stupid to remember them.
Most
I
people are.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, I I've always been quite black and white with this is how it is, and it's got me in trouble at times, as you can tell from the
Mm.
podcast. This is why I don't talk a lot on my YouTube videos, because I and I just get carried away with myself. But managing expectations was something that I had to learn quite early on. Managing expectations, going through every little detail. See, even when I was doing quotes for landscaping, I would put down every single material. I'd put down the cost. I'd put down everything. And a lot of people don't like being that transparent because they don't want people to know how much they're earning. I don't care. Even on a hedge cut, I'll say, this is how much it's going to cost for waste removal. If you want to remove the waste, I always gave 3 options. I said, you can manage the waste yourself. I can take it away and it's going to be this much. Or we can manage it on site in some way.
Yeah, I think I do the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it gives the customer that little bit more control. You're in control of it because you said this is the price, but it gives them that little control as well.
But I like giving him that option because a lot of the time it's a hassle for us to take it away. And if there is an option to not bother, I'm like, fine, burn it, chuck it in their own bins.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. So I used to have loads of ton bags. And what I say to them is, okay, I'll mulch it up for you and then put it in the ton bags. Give us a text when that ton bag's empty and I'll come and collect it from you. You just keep putting it in your brown bins, every 2 weeks or whatever. With a lot of the hedge cuttings, I went to the auctions and I bought an old hater. And I used to use a mower for mulching and then blow it back under the hedges. Like if it was something like, even with hawthorn, I would do it, and I just have this crappy old mower. I just abuse it. But so very rarely I would take waste away because it was just more cost effective. I think our brown bins around here are about 40 quid a year.
Yeah, same. Kent, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm privileged now because I've got all my big property. So if I do a big one-off job, I can compost or burn because all of them have got bonfire sites, compost bins or whatever.
Yeah, I think slightly different in a city though. I think in a city you tend to take more away, like Brighton or something. But when you're out in the sticks, it seems to be a lot easier for them to kind of just do it and cheaper.
Yeah, see, I've never. It's hard for me to relate to that. I mean, it's also I hate mowing. I'm probably one of the. I'll get a lot of stick. I hate mowing. Hate mowing with a passion. I hate mowing. Yeah, I just can't. I don't get anything from it. And see, years ago, I went out and I bought. What was it called? CC. I'm sure it was a CC aerator. I had a big wee bang scarifier. I went and done all my courses for, fertilizers and everything. And I thought, I'll try getting it. And it bored me to tears. But this is going back to my grandparents. It's my nana used to call her lawn a mini meadow. She wanted to see the buttercups in it. She wanted to see the daisies. She liked seeing the bees coming down onto the dandelions for their first food in spring. And it goes that. And unfortunately, I think with gardening, so much of it is passion. And I think, somebody might be screaming at me saying this, but you've got 2 very defined types of gardeners. You've got those that do it with passion and they're very lucky to make it their job and be happy doing it. And you've got those commercial ones that just want to bash the jobs out really quick. I don't think anyone's going to ever be rich from being a gardener, but you could be rich in other ways. Not fun. I'm going to sound really sort of sappy here. You can be rich in other ways. You can be, rich within your body and mind and happiness rather than financial. It can get you by, but you've got to get that pricing right. And I don't think I ever have. I don't think I've ever really, I've done enough to get by. I've had enough for a curry at the end of the week. But, it's been a tough year this year because I'm see it within my Facebook group, people complaining about the weather and now.
Wait, let's dive into your Facebook group. What? Because I know you've got one. I can never tell who runs them. I can see the admins. I'm just like.
Yeah, so the Professional Gardeners and Landscapers group is run by myself and Jason Gardner, the other YouTuber.
So who started that group?
Jason and I did.
Oh, you did it together? Okay.
Yeah. So Jason and I have only met each other 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Say we chat
Where does
daily.
where does Jason live?
He's in Norfolk,
Oh
so
wow.
there's a good couple of hours between us. We've got a couple of moderators on there as well. But to be honest, because we're so strict with who we have in it, I want to see their Facebook group or a website to prove that they are a gardener. I'm turning
Yeah.
away 10 requests a day for people to join the group. But
Yeah. Does it take up a lot of your time?
do you know what? It doesn't, because we've been strict with people. We don't want them selling stuff. There's plenty of groups out there where you can sell your mowers and your trimmers. We don't
Yeah,
allow
yeah,
that. We turn away. We're not interested in making money from the group. We get requests for people who want to punt a certain brand, or
yeah. Mm.
a company that wants us to push their brand, their company that sells mowers or whatever. And we're not interested in doing that. So that cuts out a lot. But we're actually very lucky. We weeded out a lot of idiots at the beginning, and there's still a few in the group, but we're quite lucky that we have people who report posts, and we're very with it.
Yeah, but I guess
Just,
that's the best way, isn't it? Yeah, to be strict.
well, it's not made me popular with people at times. I've had a fair few messages and abuse and such. But
Wow.
that happens with anything. When you step into social media and you have a YouTube or an Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you directly go and paint the target on yourself. And there
Yeah,
are
I suppose
people
you do.
that will do it. I've been quite lucky. The only really sort of bad incident I've had has actually come from another. I don't like the term influencer, but somebody else who does YouTube took a dislike
Yeah.
to us, and I had incidents with that one individual. But I won't go into that because it's not really necessary. But it's one of them things, and unfortunately, I feel like with yourself, as you become more popular, because solo gardening is a big thing, and I don't know why anybody hasn't targeted just the solo gardeners before. But as you become more popular, unfortunately, you will attract people that just don't like people doing well. Because this is something I found with Facebook and internet in general. People don't like people doing well. It's
It's
odd.
weird, isn't it?
Especially
Yeah.
in the UK. See, in America, they're all, dude, love it, great, brilliant, and they're all up for helping each other out or
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
inspiration. It's a bit too much. It's a bit too, like, British are kind of a bit reserved. Oh, do hold back a little bit, dear chap. Hold your emotions in slightly. Where that's how we are here in America. They're a bit more free with it. But here, it seems to be that if you don't agree with somebody, you're doing something different, but yet you're doing well. There's a certain crowd that people don't like. They don't like it. And
Yeah.
it's a shame, but you can't. If we're all the same, we'd be boring, right?
Hell yeah, yeah. Let's dive into Badger, the rustic badger, because
Oh,
I've been following
right.
you on that, and it seems like I'm such a massive passion for you. So I'm like, is that your thing? Are you going into that more? You want that to take over?
It's a hobby that's got out of hand. Um, you know, I've always loved my woodworking and being creative. And when I decided, because of my knee, that I wasn't going to do the landscaping and such anymore, I needed something to scratch that itch. Now I love my whisky, and I built myself a little um, summer house thing in the garden, and I quite fancied doing a mini bar. So I bought myself a whiskey barrel. I put double doors on it. I put lights in it. I built a little Bluetooth radio with speakers. And over the top, I put all bottle caps with resin and optics on top. So you'd open up and, the lights would flash with time of the music and everything like that. And I put it up on YouTube. I did it on Country Cottage Gardener page. And I had a couple of people message me and say, I'd like one of them. So I did a couple. My next door neighbour were getting married, and I like giving nice gifts. And I'd landscaped their garden for them for free. And I think every garden should have water in it. You know, it helps with biodiversity. You know, it helps with if you've got frogs in your garden, they're naturally going to help with your slugs and your snails and all that sort of thing. So if you can have
Mm.
water in any garden, I'd always encourage it. So I got another whiskey barrel and I cut a quarter off it. I got a cast iron pump and I did them a water feature. Well, with some of those offcuts, I made candle holders and they went out to New Zealand. I put them up on the internet. Somebody bought them in New Zealand. And I thought, do you know what? I'll get another one. I'll do a little craft fair. Just see, you know, I did some candle holders. What else did I do? Some wooden spoons and things like that. And a little table, stool and things. And I sat in this village hall with a load of grannies knitting, selling their little crochet blankets and things. And there's somebody over there doing sweets in a cone. And I thought, what the hell am I doing with myself here? I thought I paid 20 quid to sit here and all I smell is lavender and urine. I thought, what am I doing with myself? So I kind of knocked that on the head. But then I had somebody get in contact and say, oh, we're a pub and we're doing, you know, a little craft fair. I thought, well, I've got all this stuff and I did really well. And I thought, oh, I fancy making a chair. So I made a chair out of it. And then I thought, what else could I do? And it's spitballed. It's just, you know, and
Yeah.
doing loads of fairs. Like I hit the markets really hard last year. So bearing in mind, I'm still doing my gardening, you know, Monday to Thursday. And then I'm coming home, spending a little bit of time with the family. Boy goes to bed, and then I go out to my workshop. And then I'll do me. So I'm gardener in day, badger at night. And yeah, we're trading at Glastonbury this year. Lots of the country fairs and things like that. So yeah,
I'm
it's
surprised at how many things you can make from just a barrel. Like
uh,
the creativity is insane.
only limited by imagination.
That's what I
Um,
mean. And like you've got knives and forks I've seen recently, spreaders.
yeah, done spreading knives, barbecue tongs, boot jacks. They're really popular. You know, for getting your wellies off, really popular. Those.
The hanger
I
thing that you had some hangers, didn't you?
Yeah, I've just made another one of those because one's gone to Scotland. Somebody saw one of those, so they've done another one. I'm actually going to have to make a third one because because I'm a glutton for punishment. The wife and I are starting a third company up at the moment.
Okay.
She's because I don't like sleep. Sleep's for the weak.
I was going to
Um,
say, yeah.
but this one's called Tree Shirt, and what we're doing because we've had a lot of ash dieback. I don't know how you would know. You've noticed how much of the ash trees we've lost. And what we're doing is we're doing vegan, natural cotton, organic T-shirts, which
Mhm.
we were designing and printing ourselves. But every T-shirt that gets bought, we're pledging to plant a tree. So it's
Oh,
buy a
wow.
T, a tree, and so we're offsetting the carbon from the T-shirts being made and whatever. And we're going to do a what 3 words location, so it's a bit like a postcode thing where somebody can type it in, they can physically see where their tree will get planted. And we've spoken to a few woodland trusts and things around who will let us donate the trees. So we're starting that, and
Oh, okay.
we're going to be dropping that at Glastonbury as well. Yeah, so
And who's planting the trees? You.
it's going to be me.
It's going to be
Yeah,
you.
it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be me. Some of them are like we've been speaking to. Do you know Bedgebury, the Pinenarium,
Y-
with
Yeah. Yeah, I
Geldhurst?
know Bedgebury. Yeah, 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 yeah. Is that long
Um,
where you can hire a bike and cycle around?
right,
I
that's
love
right.
that place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good at Christmas. If you go for the Christmas lights, oh my God, it's brilliant. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, places like that, they said, well, because we will want like Scott the Pine or whatever, not so well. We're trying to go for indigenous trees, but they've said We're happy to take the donations. We'll plant the trees ourselves because we know where we want them, and we've got our staff. That's fine as long as we can trace the heritage.
Yeah.
Um,
Saves you the
but
job as well, right?
totally. Yeah, so we're doing that. And that's just a little thing for my wife. She's very educated, but she doesn't get as much. She hasn't got that creativity, satisfaction that I've got with mine. So that's saying that she's going to be sort of,
So she'll take
taking
that on. Is she a lawyer, you said?
That's right, conveyancing
Yeah.
solicitor. Yeah, she's a partner in a firm.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So this is literally completely the opposite to what she's doing.
Completely, yeah. She's out at
But
farts
yeah.
and stretches, mate. She'll be back soon. Sorry, farts and stretches. Yoga, that's what it is.
Yoga, exactly. I was going to say, it sounds a bit like yoga.
Farts and stretches. Yeah, she's at the minor celebrities' house, out on their decking.
What, the naked yogas?
Yeah, that's where she's gone off to. Yeah, she'll come back with a henna tattoo or something, I'm sure. So yeah, there we are. That's a full.
Wow, I think we've covered everything. We've done over an hour as well. So you did all right.
I've really wrapped it on.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. But no, I really appreciate you giving me some time today because I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, this is long overdue for us. I mean, we've still got to meet up and have a beer or a coffee or whatever.
Mate,
I'm sure.
I'm waiting for that time. I'm waiting for that time when you've got a spare like half hour. We can hook up or hour or something.
Half an hour. Yeah. It's
probably
weird
a bit.
times. I think the problem is being a gardener as well. You're always looking forwards. It's kind of like now you're thinking about your springs, and I know people are talking about their lawn renovations and all that sort of thing. You're always kind of living in the future with gardening. I say that's if we're going to take any sort of downside to gardening, is that you're almost wishing your life away because you're always looking forward to the next thing. Like during summer months, you go, "Oh yeah, I'm sick of sunburn now. I could do with a bit of winter."
I don't know about that. I wouldn't.
No.
Do you go skiing? Have you ever been skiing? I do like a bit of snow.
I've never been abroad. I haven't got a passport.
Now that is shocking. That's a shocking thing to hear. I met an old couple years and years ago. That said they've never been abroad. I've never met anyone your age.
Yeah,
who's never been abroad. Not fancy it.
I've always been too busy. I mean, as I say, up to 16, lived on my own. Then it was supporting the wife. Then it was saving up for a wedding. Then it was saving up for our house. Then our boy come along. Started the business. Then boy come along, started second business. Second house. So it's always going to be. I don't know. It's just never been. I've got relatives in Australia. Actually, one of my uncles is a pilot so I've got no,
no excuses. You could give him a call. Give us a lift.
Yeah, tap him up a little bit.
Is it just? Yeah.
I just never. Sounds terrible.
Does it bother you, or do you not? Are you not fast?
Don't give me the fizz. I only go after things that give me the fizz.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's what it is.
I think there's so many beautiful places on this little rock we live on in the UK. There's so many beautiful places that people don't explore enough. See, my bones are going to be in Devon or Cornwall. That's where I'm going to be.
Oh yeah,
because the pace of life suits me better. It's gorgeous down there. There's a place down there called the Blue Pool, and it's just blue algae across it, and it's an old quarry pit, but it's just beautiful. You go through all these trees, and you could be anywhere. Got a bit of sand down there. You could be absolutely anywhere. There's little gems of places like that I like.
Yeah, like Lulworth Cove and Durdledore and all that sort of place.
Yeah. So this is the thing, and places in Scotland that just make you tingle, where you got deer.
Oh yeah. I need to go to Scotland. That is for sure. So, did you have your honeymoon in the UK?
Yeah, North Wales, Snowdonia.
Snowdonia. Okay, that's a nice place.
Yeah. A little cottage called Harvest Cottage, and the farmer had converted it all himself, and he had all these big gnarly trees in this cottage, and the four-poster bed was from one tree that he had carved all through, and it was all up into the beams, and it's beautiful.
Oh
And
wow.
nice roll top bath and everything in there. It was all the floorboards were made by him, like from trees from the estate and things, and it was just beautiful, beautiful. That's what I mean. I'll go after things that give me this is why I do the badgering so much. Oh, the name Rustic Badger.
Yeah.
It came grew the beard, the ginger beard. I never knew it was going to be ginger. I didn't know I was ginger until I grew the beard.
So
And
someone called you that, or did you just make that
yeah,
name for
why?
yourself?
No. She said I look like an old badger with it, and I was like, "Well, my
But who
stuff's
was this? Who
rusty."
said that? Who
My
said that?
wife, my
Your
wife's
wife
called me.
called you a rusty old badger.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how it stuck. She called me. So I thought, well, my stuff is rustic. I look like an old badger, rustic
It's almost
badger.
perfect.
It sticks,
Perfect.
and it gives people a giggle. When we got the sign up there above the stand and everything. And people remember it. It's got no relevance at all to whisky or woodworking at all. But then Apple hasn't to computers, has it, really?
That's what I mean. I think those are the best names, really. They're more
Yeah,
unique, aren't they? They're more unique, more memorable as well.
that's it. And it's worth a giggle. Although I do
And
wish
again,
I'd
yeah.
changed the font slightly because the sign the R looks a bit like an A. So you get people walk past and go, "Hey, autistic badger." And I go,
Autistic badger.
yeah, I go, maybe. I've never
You can
been
still.
diagnosed, but
You
it
might be on
could.
the spectrum, buddy.
I reckon I am. And there's
I
probably a lot
think
of
we
people.
all are, really. We all are, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I I'm envious really because you with the age of the internet, you see like a lot of reels, and I get caught up watching, scrolling like a lot of people.
Mm.
And there's one chap, and I think it's autism, and he does these most beautiful drawings, and he does them straight off. He gets given a subject, and he can just draw.
I've seen it. I've seen him. I've seen him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's
and
proper like Rain Man, isn't he? Yeah.
that's and I'm just like, wow, man! I wish I could have a 5% of his talent, 5% of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why I rave about I'm going to restart it shortly, but on my Rustic Badger I do fellow trader Tuesdays, where I'll say about a trader who makes lamps. I got one guy who made me a lamp from coffee grinder. There's another guy, Stencil Shed in Wiltshire, and he's a graffiti artist. And he does like all this lovely artwork with spray paints and things on reclaimed wood.
Mm.
And I'll share it. And this is the whole thing again with the gardening pages. Some people are reluctant to praise and share other people's, achievements. It's
I don't
so
see the problem with that. Yeah.
no, but I've always been happy to shout from the rooftops about somebody else's talent and go, look at this guy, look, look at this, look what they can do.
Yeah.
It's weird, self-centered sort of world. I mean, we're all guilty of it to a degree, but it seems, unfortunately, I think the world's gone a little bit more crazy since COVID. It just seems a little bit more
Yeah.
selfish. It just seems so bizarre. Where I thought COVID would have shaken people a little bit and gone, hey, look, we need to be a bit more, I don't want to get political, but we need to be a bit more self-sufficient on our island. We need to,
Yeah.
sort of support the farmers and all that. But anyway, we'll be
Yeah.
another hour
Yeah.
on that baby boat.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's one we can talk about over a beer.
Always a pleasure. Anything else you want me to badge
I
you
think
about?
that's it, Chris. I think I've got some dinner to go and have anyway as well, and you've got to tend to your dog. What was your dog's name, by the way?
He's Frank. He's a
Oh, what a name! Can you show us
hang on,
Frank? Can you show us Frank? We want to see Frank.
there
It's a bit blurry. What breed dog is that?
he's a border terrier cross pug.
He's having a little snooze.
Yeah, he's old. I adopted him from the Dogs Trust. Oh, hang on, he's. Oh no, you don't want to see that. He likes
He's
cleaning his
scratching his
shit.
nuts.
He's his teabag.
He's
He,
teabagging.
he's teabag. Yeah. We adopted him. Oh, I don't know, 15 years ago from Dogs Trust, and he weren't young
Oh,
then.
he's getting on
Yeah,
then.
he used to come out with me in the back of the Land Rover,
Oh,
and
that's
he'd
nice.
run. He loved it, and I would get. I don't want to wish him away, but I would get another dog and take him out with us. A lot of my
Yeah,
clients don't mind, you know. And
I'm sure they wouldn't. Yeah.
my legacy customer asks how he is still, you know, ask how he's getting on and everything. Oh, mate, always making sure that's clean. I have to stop him. I don't like the noise. I've asked to move tables in a restaurant before because somebody else is eating. I can't. Oh, I've got a
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Punching, you know, I can't deal with it. That sloppy noise. It's embarrassing for my wife because I have asked to move table before where somebody else is eating loud. But anyway,
Yeah, I get a bit funny if I ever go to McDonald's. Not that I go to McDonald's these days, but yeah, I don't like. I'd rather sit in my car at McDonald's.
yeah.
Right, I'm gonna go and have some food. Oh, because I'm actually in my van with this
Yeah, I was going to
stupid
say,
ring light.
you're not at home.
It's supposed to be a little gimmick, but now it's like turned into right. What do I do when it's nighttime? I'm sat in here. I've like people walking past, look at me, going, "What's this weirdo doing in his van?"
There's going to be neighbours sort of twitching, going, "Hey up, he's back. He's touching himself in his." On
Right,
that
Chris.
note, thank you very
I will
much.
see you soon, buddy. Have a good one. Have a good evening.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.